and welcome everyone. It's an honor and privilege to speak before you as your MC, this remarkable Women's Health and Wealth Questionnaire panel. I'm Sharon Ponchal. I'm a personal development and human resource specialist. Tonight, we're gathering to listen to the strength, resilience, and unbreakable spirit of women from diverse backgrounds and industries. Every question we are presenting is a step towards understanding and empowering visionary leaders and advocates in their fields. We are here to embrace women entrepreneurs on health and wealth while acknowledging wisdom and potential with each other. So allow me to introduce briefly to our panelists. We have Bonnie Lai, realtor and investor; Constance Morton, a management consultant and disaster responder; Tiana Foster, automated systems and sales coach; Elizabeth Yang, social monetization strategist and sales embodiment coach; Joyce Gibson, owner of Legacy Assured. So you can learn more about each of these panelists on our Red Women blog page or our Facebook. And for the last 30 minutes, we will have a Q&A from your request in our chat. So without further ado, let me introduce Molly Lowe, a speaker and business coach. She will be leading our lovely ladies on an enlightening, inspirational journey. Molly, take it away.
Oh, hello, welcome everybody. So excited to have you all. Thank you, Sharon, for that fantastic introduction. Welcome. On behalf of Red Women, I am Molly Lowe, and let me just, first off, of course, because it's Zoom, right? I mean, I think we've probably got the hang of it, but if we could all, as we join, if you hear yourself, just mute yourself. That would be so fabulous to just ensure that we can hear the wisdom of all of our panelists. Now, as Sharon already graciously done, again, my name is Molly Lowe. I am a business coach to career coaches, and I have had the honor of being the chapter president for Red Women for a while now, for almost a year, if not longer at this point, okay? Lost count. It's been that fun. Today, we have an amazing session prepared for you all. And as I shared, we already have some amazing hot topics to talk about, which is on health and wellness. Or health and wealth, I should say, the wellness of health and wealth. So one of the things that I want to do, in case you're wondering what my role is today, my role is to navigate the conversation. It is to ask each of our panelists their specific question. Now, as Sharon already talked about, we're going to have Q&A in the end of this, so feel free to jot down your questions and we will go ahead and save some time for that. Now, as we kick off today's discussion, I want to just also say this event has been sponsored by Market Synergy 360. They are giving away 2 Empowerment 360 accountability coaching packages. That is fabulous. And their Empower 360 course goes way beyond the routine. So it blends personalized coaching with effective practical lessons and an environment that fosters growth and self-discovery, sparking your infinite potential. Oh my gosh. Sign me up for that, right? So we'd also like to thank, of course, Red Women, Raise Every Dream for Women. That's what it stands for. And we'll also be giving out 2 free memberships to our monthly networking event at the end of today's panel. Yes, so thank you so much to our sponsors. So let's kick us off. I would love to hear, and we're going to open it up to the panel. We're going to have a question, and I'd love to just popcorn around and hear your thoughts, okay? When I think about how we are building health and wealth, what role does continuous learning play in adapting to the changing demands of the modern world? And how does this translate to your own personal growth? Not everybody go at once.
Well, I would love to get started.
Yes, please.
So really, the first thing that comes to mind is technology, right? Like technology is expanding, it's adapting at such a rapid pace that it's almost like a whiplash. It's like, oh my gosh, like, there's this program, there's AI now, there's chatbots, there's, all of these things. I'm just curious, has anyone used AI yet? Raise a hand, yeah. Has anyone used like Chat GPT? Right? If not, I'm going to shake you and show you how to use it. But it's so important to adapt with the times because, I mean, don't want to age myself, but like, even looking back at like, well, I think, okay, I was born a little bit after this, but when TV came about, right? And there was so much resistance because our brain is automatically like, whoa, what is this new thing? Like, it's going to take away from social interactions. This box, we're just going to sit in front of it. It's going to like disconnect us. And there's so much resistance around it. But as you start to like adopt technology and like start to use it, and when the computer came about and Google and everything, it's like you have to stick with the times, because if not, like the opportunities are going to keep, going this way, and you have to keep up with the opportunities. So I'm just thinking about AI, like it's fantastic of how it can just scan the entire internet, and all of this information is available to us like at our fingertips. We don't have to go to the library anymore, or you can. I'm just saying you don't have to. But it's just fantastic. So really just like staying up to date with everything can open so many opportunities, because it's not just about like having access to these things. Like you can have access to Google, you can have access to social media, you can have access to AI, but if you don't know how to use it, that's the key piece, right? So really just developing your skills and abilities, because then it gives you the opportunity to actually use this technology to benefit yourself, grow your business, benefit others. And then really like there's endless opportunities there.
Yeah, can I be next?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I'm Bonnie from Boston. So what I like, as Sharon has kindly introduced me, I'm in real estate, and as you all know, in the real estate business, like our market literally is changing on a week to week basis, not just month to month, not seasonal, but based on like every week you depends on the location you go to. Every market is a little different. So with me staying focused on getting intels, absorbing news, just asking people what are you seeing on a weekly basis is so important. And right before the call started, I literally just got working on an offer that is about to get accepted. So we're like super excited. But I think, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It's so important to know that information is the way to key to success. Is because if you get there first and you have that piece of information first, you're going to make a faster move than everyone else. Assuming in your industry, knowledge, is always power. And in our industry currently, there's a lot of changes that's happening or about to change. So you don't want to get blindsided by things, So like for me, every day during lunchtime, I'm always either making phone calls, talking to other people in the business, or we'll be doing lunch together so we can expense that meal as well. So I think it's always great when you're talking to people in your field, and kind of not only that's the best therapy, but it's also to kind of learn from each other and see what kind of product is going to help your clients the best right now, who has the best rate, and such. So if you're in the service industry, You want to know what is up and coming, right? And if you're in an industry where technology is key, then you definitely want to read up, articles and go to conferences and stuff like that. So I think, and also with education kind of really tie into networking as well. And I know that very soon Molly is going to talk, ask us more about the power of networking. And I think for me in my business, networking and education really tie very tightly together.
I love that. So much of this is interconnected, right? And the piece that I wanted to just highlight here, which is so interesting, okay, and we still have plenty of time for the panelists to chime in with more thoughts. This question really talks about learning, and we didn't really, Dee and Bonnie, you guys didn't talk about the traditional learning, right? It wasn't just, oh, learning to us means going to school and reading a book. It's about today's modern technology, AI, in addition to tapping into the knowledge of what your colleagues, your peers are also learning. So I love that. Love, love, love that. Anybody else? Anybody wants to add to even more value to this?
I want to add to this from a woman's perspective. So the question was really about how does continuous learning in today's modern world help us? And I think yes to everything that Bonnie and Coach D has said, but I think that in today's world, because as women we're really great at multitasking, I think that the opportunity isn't so much for continuous learning, but also embracing just-in-time learning. Like just knowing that you don't have to know everything all at once because there's so much information out there. And I think the biggest opportunity for continuous learning is to know that sometimes you just have to grow comfortable with just-in-time learning, just enough to get from step 1 to step 2, and that you will learn again to get from step 2 to step 3. I think a lot of women, when we think about continuous learning, it's about getting all of our ducks in a row, being prepared, knowing everything from A to Z, making sure that the kids are all okay, that everything's all done and there's all the meals in the fridge before we can then take action. And I think if we're talking about health and we're talking about wealth, that rewards messy, imperfect, ugly action. And I think that in today's world, we have to think of technology as a way for us women to be a lot more efficient, but also for us to grow in other things like our ability to delegate, our ability to get comfortable with just knowing enough to move from step 1 to 2, our ability to lead, our ability to be visible, to be seen in front of the camera. I mean, to me, those are like the next level skills of learning. It's not just knowledge, but truly not multitasking less and learning enough to execute, because knowledge is not power. Now, knowledge is only power if you can apply it. And I think that's really in today's modern world, like even more critical than it has ever been with all this information overload, because there's truth to probably everything that you read out there, So I think as women in the spirit of wealth and health, we just got to get used to imperfect, ugly, messy action.
Elizabeth, I would love to add on to this.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I love what you were mentioning about just-in-time learning, because continuous learning, absolutely, it can turn into like, just one more YouTube video, just one more reel, one more, all these like tips and tricks and hacks. And it leads to one of the biggest pitfalls that I see a lot of people fall into, but I work closely with women, so I see a lot of women fall into this pitfall, is procrastinating. Is I just need one more book. I just need one more YouTube video. I just need one more course. I need one more certification. I need one more. And it's like just taking that messy action. Like it's going to be ugly, and just embracing that ugly, because if you continue learning all of these things with procrastinating, then it's always going to be like the carrot is in front of your face. It's like you want more wealth, you want to accomplish your dreams, you want to build that dream lifestyle. But if you're like, just one more course, one more, and you're like a hoarder of all this information, You actually need the self-control to stop, the self-control to understand I am enough, even if you're just 10% in front of, if you're teaching other people how to do something, if you're just 10% or a few steps in front of other people, you can be 100% service to them. But it's just having that self-control of being like, I am owning my inner power and I don't need all these external things, more courses, more certifications, everything. I just need to start.
I love all of that.
Yes.
I love,
Yes.
thank you, Coach D. You've described my life in a nutshell.
And thank you, Elizabeth, for opening this up.
Absolutely. So all the words that have been spoken thus far are totally spot on and worth the price of admission today. So I'm so glad everyone is joining in, and together we're learning and growing together. And as the question was asked, the first thing that came to my mind was the fact that there's no expiration date on curiosity. Children are naturally curious. They ask questions, they try things, they don't beat up on themselves when it doesn't work out. They just find a new way around that disappointment, that setback. And I think sometimes as women go through the process of aging, that they lose sight of curiosity based on just being in the moment, the crazy busy, the many responsibilities that they might have. And we've got to be open to new things in new seasons. We've got to be willing to step out there and to ask questions, to ask better questions. I mean, just to grow in how to ask questions and remain curious. And so one of the newest values that I've cultivated in this season is having fun. And curiosity is such a part of that. And being curious about my own health, about my own well-being, and about how that's related to wealth. It changes everything. It's a game changer. And we can be force multipliers in this space through continuous learning that looks different. It's not about the degrees. It's not even about the titles. We can lead from any position in the house, in the orchestra, in the workplace. We are natural born leaders. And I think we need to remember that there's no expiration date on curiosity or having fun or having an adventure. And life should be a grand adventure. So thank you, ladies, for setting us up and just probably filling us all with endorphins just from question number one in this space. So what a joy to just drill down in this space. We are learners and we should embrace that. It looks different for every one of us. It looks different in every season. And again, no expiration date on curiosity.
How fabulous.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes.
May
yes,
I also share?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I love being on this panel. And piggybacking on pretty much what everyone else has said, as you do age, yes, we forget, right? Because you graduate school, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, and then it becomes about everybody else. And part of evolving, I think life experience, that's the best education you can have. And you failed, you learn. You fail again, you learn. But in that process, as we evolve, we're also evolving with the times, like Coach D said, technology. Even in my industry, using technology now is like, wow, I'm in insurance, and usually that's like, let's find out about you, but now it is evolving. And so as women, going back to what Connie said as well, of having fun, that one to me was the biggest lesson of the applied knowledge that Elizabeth shared. Of, yeah, you know what? I know how to have fun. I've forgotten how to have fun. Now it's like find yourself again. And and going back to who you were supposed to be, and just knowing that you're able, you're capable, you're willing. I think that's all that matters. That's all evolves into the wealth is not necessarily just monetary. It's the wealth of knowledge, wealth of confidence, wealth of everything. So,
This
thank you.
is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, I can see the chat blowing up. I love it. I love it. I love it. I literally, as a person who talks so much, have nothing else to add. So that says a lot. But I have nothing else to add. Awesome.
Well, I do. That's okay.
Yes, Sharon.
No, I'm only the MC. But I just like to add that, time is finite. And so money is infinite. And we do have to have fun. And if we can just live in the moment, present, moment to moment to moment, and be uncomfortable to get comfortable and not have to know where the path is, just take it step by step, then we can embrace the technology and all the challenges that we have to work through harmonious solutions.
Thank you, Sharon, for sharing.
Welcome.
Yes, fantastic. All right, we are going to continue having this amazing conversation by spotlighting each of our panelists. So, first up, we are going to have Bonnie. And Bonnie, the question for you here is, how can cultivating a growth mindset through investment in learning and self-improvement help you overcome challenges and setbacks?
So I can share with you all, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree to that, mindset, having the right mindset is 60% setting you up for, the success that you're gonna have. First of all, you need to want it. A lot of people, they kind of think that, oh, the goal might be too high. I don't know if I can do it. I mean, everyone have their own roadblock, mind block, different ones. Every single one of us have that. But I think, and that's why talking to each other and encourage each other is really great. Surround yourself with people who also have that learning mindset, willing to adjust and, adapt to changes is very important. A lot of people would say if you are always feeling comfortable, then you're not being challenged. And if you're always going to be afraid, then maybe that's good. Having a little fear is good because that just means that you're being challenged. And I think, that growth mindset, once you get comfortable knowing that, okay, I can do this. It's like working out at the gym, right? My trainer always tell me this is what I want you to do. And if he assigned me that task, I'm like, challenge accepted, let's do this. If you tell yourself you can't do it before you even try, that's going to be, that's you're the person who stop yourself from growing. So I think with education for me is to find the right people surrounding yourself, not just for the knowledge base, but also finding the right kind of energy to feed into what you need to do, what you need to do to get to the next step. For education, of course, like I said, in my business, you have to educate yourself on such a frequent basis. Every month, there's a new update of a market status, how things are, looking numbers wise, and policy wise, what kind of products roll out that can help your clients the best. I'm constantly having that conversations. I think every week I'll be meeting with a loan officer, an attorney, other realtors, just to kind of talk shop. And I thoroughly enjoy it. And I think, when you enjoy your work so much to a point that you really live and breathe it every day, learning is just a very natural thing. So I think I'm fortunate enough that I'm in the kind of business that I enjoy just breathing it every day. So that's me.
I love that. The one piece as I was listening to you share this, Bonnie, is your focus on energy in the ways that is beneficial for you in all aspects of your life, right? Whether it's professional or personal. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, with that being said, Constance, you're up here, and your question is now, how does upgrading your skills and knowledge lead to increased opportunities and the potential for higher earning potential?
What a fabulous question. And thank you for posing that one to me. Because as I sit here as part of the panel, I look at all of you and I say, you are trailblazers. And just a decade ago or 2 decades ago, I would not have seen myself able to sit here with you. I would have lacked the confidence and the courage to join you in this space. And yet, because I changed my mind about upgrading my skills and knowledge, I'm here today. I've shown up today with a great deal of confidence and understanding about the power of upgrading your skills. And going back to that first question, it really has so little to do with your education or achieving a title. I was hell bent on that path, thinking that another degree would open doors for me. What I didn't understand was that no one was locking doors, no one was closing doors, no one was barring doors but me. Right here in my mind, I had a limited mindset in this space. And one of the things I knew that I did well was I was a people person, but I lacked bona fide business skills. And so I had to learn, I had to go back to the school of life and learn a new language, the language of business. I had to begin to understand data and some hard facts that relate to business, not just the soft skills, not just the team building and confidence boosting and, all those things that make women really fabulous in the workplace. And yet men get promoted over us and men occupy entrepreneurial seats of power that women in years past might not have even pursued. Today, we're shattering all of that because not only are we learning to speak the language of business, we are learning to speak the language of our heart and promoting ourselves. And so there's two things that come to mind as I think about skills and knowledge that need to be upgraded. The first one is our communication skills. We've got to embrace being public speakers. And for so many of us, that was the thing that we cringed at. We did not want to speak publicly. And yet, it's so important that we're able to speak well and that we're able to influence others and impact change through our voices and our actions. The knowledge applied, we've learned so much. The school of life has taught us so much. And yet I was one of those women who was unable to quantify it in a resume to show that things I had done had value. And you know what? Someone called me out on that. A business coach called me out and she walked with me in how to present myself, to show up in power and courage and strength. And guess what? I opened those doors and I walked through. So upgrading your skills, start by changing your mindset, speaking different words to yourself. You can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. There's no competition in this space. And all the things that you've learned through the school of life, apply those. They will open doors. You've got the key. You have it in you. And that's what I would say about how upgrading your skills and knowledge lead to increased opportunities. There's nothing you can't have. Just walk towards it. Go get your dream. And that dream might include higher earnings. And guess what? They're out there and they're available to you. Just step into that stream and go get your dream.
Yes. I don't know about you guys, but I feel so energized to go and do things. Yes? Yeah, like
I am fired up.
I know, let's do it, right? I know. Gosh, Constance, that was amazing. And the biggest thing that I take away from that, right? And I think about the quote that Henry Ford talks about. If you think you can, if you think you can't, both are true. Right? I'm paraphrasing, y'all. But you get the gist. Like, that is exactly it in the school of life. What a beautiful way to capture that. So thank you. Well done. All right. Coach D, are you ready?
Born ready, baby.
Right, that's the right answer. All right. So for you, my dear, your question is how can women leverage their skills, talents, and or passions to create additional income streams and accelerate wealth building?
I want to actually turn this question onto our audience. So I want everyone to grab a notepad right now, grab your phone, get your notes out, and ask yourself, how can I leverage my skills, talents, or passions to create additional income streams and accelerate wealth in my life? I want you to sit with that for a second, okay? Because it's going to open your brain to endless possibilities. Everything that you've been through, everything that you've done in your life, all the experience you have, what lights you up, what you think about in the morning, what keeps you up at night, how can you leverage all of that and make money from it and make an impact for others? The thing I really want to talk about is the idea of competition. And so oftentimes I see this, especially in the online space. I teach women to create online courses and group coaching programs and put their sales on autopilot, to generate wealth online. And I so often see this idea of competition. And then we start asking ourselves, like, are they going to buy from me? The market is saturated. I see that so many times. Well, I can't create a course on this because there's thousands of courses on this topic. Or I can't step into being a coach because there's thousands and thousands of mindset coaches. You know what there's not thousands and thousands of? You. And that what separates you from everyone else on the online space. And that's why we need to absolutely eradicate this idea of competition. Because if you're a mindset coach, if you want to create a course on anything that you've gone through in your life, past experiences, or just something that you're so passionate about, if you want to create that and someone else created that too, people are going to buy from you or the other person for specific reasons. And the number one being is because of you. It's because of everything you've gone through. They're going to buy from how you speak, how you coach, your story, the struggles you've been through. If you're a mom and, your audience are also moms, they're going to buy from you. If you've gone through, childhood trauma and depression, and you vocalize this and you actually are transparent about it, you're going to attract the audience that really, is like you and really relates with you. So even just this idea of competition, it doesn't exist, right? People buy because of you. And also this idea around competition versus collaboration. So instead of saying, oh, well, I can't talk to this person because they do something similar to me and they're taking up market share. That is a limiting belief you got to conquer, baby. That is some scarcity mindset, because it's all about the collaboration over competition. If competition doesn't exist, and Molly, you actually had a good quote on this. What was it? Do you mind sharing that?
Which one?
I remember you saying it was something, it was something like competition can't exist.
Yes. Yep. So competition and collaboration cannot coexist.
Yes. Absolutely. Like how that sits with me so well. So I just want you to really think and make a list, brainstorm, let your soul breathe a little bit, put on some fun music, whatever, and just ask yourself, how can you leverage your skills, talents, and passions to create additional income? And the first thing that comes to mind for me, of course, is building a digital course, building a coaching business, because the online education industry in 2022 was valued, get this, In 2022, the online education industry was valued at 217 billion. That was 2022. 2030, it's estimated to be valued at 475 billion. Do you not think that you could, get in there and get a slice of that pie, right? So don't overthink things. Again, combine everything that we're talking about, procrastinating learning, like you don't need that certification. You don't need to build a website. You don't need a big following. You don't need all of these things that we're often told that we need in order to start making money. You just gotta, I don't know how else to say this. You just gotta own your shit. Own it, tell your story. Be more vocal about it. Be more transparent, because we often think that other people are so different from us. We're the only ones going through this. We're the only ones feeling like this. I'm sorry, but that's just not the case. But the more transparent we are about things, then people will be like, start raising their hands. They'll be like, oh yeah, actually, I've been through that too. Yeah, I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with anxiety. I've dealt with, whatever it is, postpartum or anything. So that's what I just wanted to say on this topic, is to erase this idea of competition, embrace collaboration, and really just utilize everything that you've been through and package it up, because there's people waiting for it. There's people waiting for your story and what you have to offer. And if you are not delivering that, if you are not putting that out into the world, then you are actually doing people a disservice. Okay? Because people need that. So that's what I want to say for my question.
So yes, you had me thinking. I'm sitting here like scribbling on my post. I'm like, yeah, Coach D told me to start doing this, right?
That was amazing.
Yeah, honestly, for those of you who are here, I highly recommend for you to look back at this, because what I jot down in 2 seconds is already enough for me to be like, hot dog. Yeah, I should do that. So thank you.
I got a whole page.
Yeah, yours is
I
a whole
love to
page.
see it, ladies. Yes.
Love. Thank you, Coach D. All right. Up next, we have Elizabeth.
Hey.
Hi. Okay. So, question for you, my dear, is how does sales or the traditional education of earning a degree impact wealth building in today's era?
Everything. I mean, we constantly sell. I have a 15-year-old and 13-year-old. I'm constantly selling them on doing their own laundry. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're constantly selling ourselves. The way that I like to just encourage you to think about this is that sales is a wealth building skill, because when you are in a job and you want to ask for that promotion, you have to sell yourself. If you are an entrepreneur and you have not raised your prices, you got to sell yourself on asking for the sale, increasing your price, negotiating that salary, right? And here's the reality is that, the traditional education, I'm first generation, it served its purpose, but knowledge is not power, action is. And if I had to go back in time, I would embrace learning how to sell. Now, I'm a sales mindset coach and a monetization strategist. And what I have learned is that at the heart of sales is really your self-worth. College, information, knowledge, degrees, it's not what you know, ladies. It's how you feel about yourself. It's about what you believe about yourself. I'm going to just go ahead and write this down, okay? Let's do a mindset test. Can't be a mindset coach without a mindset question for you, right? So write down how much money you want to make and type that into the chat. How much do you want to make? Is it $10,000 per month, $100,000 per month, $1 million per month? Type that into the chat, right? Just so I can see some participation here. How much would you like to have? 50K months. Love it. Love it, right? Now ask yourself this. You want to make 50K months, 100K months. How much are you willing to invest and give to make that much? 25,000 a month. Write that number down. How much are you willing to spend to make that kind of money? Here's the secret to your self-worth. If you want to make $1 million, you better damn well be willing to give $1 million to make $1 million. If your number there that you wrote down is less than the money you want to make, then we got a mindset issue. Because here's the reality. I didn't ask you if you could afford it. I said, how much are you willing to spend? Right? And anything and everything I've learned from my 8-figure mentors to even running my own business now is that so many people want to get the maximum with the minimum. And if you want income and you want wealth and you want sales, your mindset has to be, you know what? I want to make $1 million. I'm going to invest $1 million in me because I am worth that knowledge. I am worth knowing that much because that's what's going to get me to $1 million in sales. And when you cannot, and you find yourself talking yourself out of investing anything in yourself, that's how we know that it's not really just a knowledge or a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of self-worth. And what I have found to be true, and this is why I say sales is a wealth building skill, is that if you focus on your self-worth and your sales skills, when you raise your worth to high, all of a sudden the money you start commanding, it's a lot higher because you don't settle. It's not even like, it doesn't even pop up like when you negotiate. It's just, I'm going to walk away because I know my worth. And it's your ability, the secret to sales is your ability to detach yourself from the money. That's the secret, right? So your self-worth is key because the way that you believe your worth isn't so much about charging your worth. You hear a lot of women say, charge your worth, but I actually don't believe that that's where you want to go. I believe that what you need to be going into the market with is, I can't charge my worth because I am so priceless. And when you walk into that room, because you're priceless, ain't no amount of money someone can pay you or not pay you that's going to take away like your self-worth, right? And when you walk into that room and you have that mindset, then sales, education, all of that, right? It's just bonus. It's just a multiplier. But in order for you to really start to ask yourself about, you want to start making $1 million years, 25K months, 50K months, is, are you willing to invest that much money in yourself? Because that simple question often reveals where people are at with their self-worth. Because believe it or not, they'll be like, I can't spend $3,000 because of my kids, because I don't have the money, because of this, because of that, right? And it's like, if you keep talking yourself out of it, you are not betting on you. And when you're not betting on you, it's because you don't believe in you. And when you don't believe in you, ain't no one else is going to believe in you. And that is the power of why I say to you, sales is a wealth building skill, because when you can sell yourself on you, you can sell anyone else on any other offer that you've got. And that to me is like the most important skill set and mindset to really have.
Oh, so amazing. I loved all aspects of that. The interesting piece that I picked up is, in hearing you talk about this, Elizabeth, you even presented almost a duality for us, right? Because when we're thinking about wealth building, ladies, this isn't just how much money do you have in the bank. Okay. The ability for you to build wealth is the ability for you to generate the money that you need and you desire at any given moment in time. Mm-hmm. And so when you think of it that way, right? Your sales skills is at the root of that. It is at the core of you being able to generate and truly create, not just manage your wealth, y'all, actually create the wealth. And that comes tied to sales. Love it.
Have extra money coming in order to invest in property, right? Or stocks, or some of these other amazing women can speak to. But if you don't have that belief in yourself to create that, And ladies, let me just keep it real, right? Like, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to grow into this. Once upon a time, I couldn't even sell something that was $100. Today, for me to close $100,000, it's like nothing. It's like hotcakes, right? Oh, I need to generate $3,000. Okay, 6 DMs closed. I mean, but it's not because I just woke up like that one day. It was because I said, you know what? If I want $1 million business, holy crap, am I willing to invest $1 million in myself? It's scary to think that you're going to spend that much money on you. There's a lot in that, a lot, but you are worth it. You will always be, ladies, your safest bet. 100%. 100%. No one else is going to provide you the sense of security than you. So I'm going to put my money on you.
Yes. Oh, so good. So good. All right. Last but certainly not least, we have Joyce here. Joyce, for you, here's your question.
Okay.
Now, most wealth has always been built through real estate, stocks, and mutual funds, right? Perfect segue. What are some of the least financially risks of building wealth? What does that look like for you?
I could go into all the products, but that's not what we're here for. Ladies, there are different strategies, definitely. But I think more importantly, there are tax benefits in insurance products. But more importantly, knowing the strategy is key because, like Elizabeth just said, you come first. So knowing how to pay yourself first, banking on yourself before everybody else, that's important. Knowing how money works, understanding the money game. How does it work? What do banks do with your money? They reinvest it. That's why you only get 0.025 in your savings. Are you putting all your money in there? Right? With when you're paying off your credit card, for example, do you pay more on the fees? Give it to your credit card company? Or are you being strategic about how to pay off your debt? So many different ways. But the important thing is that you understand financial literacy is wealth. Without that, you can't afford to buy a house from Bonnie. Without that, you can't run your business and pay Coach Elizabeth, Coach D, Coach Molly. How can you afford? How can you grow? We need all these things. We have to invest in ourselves. But understanding how to handle money, which is really just, it's energy, right? We're passing it along. We're giving business to people, which then they get their income from there and then pass it on to the next person who can use it and so on. And that's abundance. But really understanding that and talking to the right people, learning the strategy is how you're going to build your wealth and maintain it. I'm now learning, yes, we can all be successful, but how do you stay up there? And if you don't know how to manage your money, that can just be gone. Or if you get sick, you don't die. Yeah, insurance will help you cover in death, but you know that you can also help cover you while you're alive. Sometimes all it takes is one sickness to wipe out everything that you have. Are you prepared? A lot of things that people don't like to talk about, but we should. And so in all this, there are definitely tax benefits to, insurance products, much safer than investing in stocks. We can talk about all that, you guys can reach out to me but really more important is knowing finances, understanding how money works, and being able to keep it, to grow it and grow your business and yourself.
Thank you, Joyce. Fabulous. I loved how you were able to really interweave all of that, right? Oh, fabulous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How fantastic. Now, I know I'm gonna throw a curve y'all ball at y'all, okay? Because we had a wonderful opportunity of hearing each of our panelists talk. Now, again, as a reminder, today we're talking about health and wealth. Now, we talked a lot about mindset, which I love. We talked a lot about wealth because let's be real, as entrepreneurs, we like wealth, okay? So here's a question I'd love to pose to the panelists here as group discussion. Okay. And for those of you who are here listening, I'd love to hear you guys chime in the chat as well. Okay. So we touched upon the mindset, the mental health. Okay. We haven't quite talked about physical health. We haven't talked about spiritual health. Right. And I mean, I guess if you want to split hairs, right? Emotional health, right? So I'd love to hear your thoughts as I think sometimes, even as a coach myself, and I'd love for everybody to chime in. I always have my clients say to me, "Oh, you must just have the perfect life because you got it all figured out. You help me all the time." And it is not true at all. And sometimes it's me sharing my own personal story to say I'm human, just like you. I still have a lot of growth, a ton of growth to do, just like you. So, how are you, ladies, panelists? How are you and what are you doing? Like, talk to me about the doing. How and what are you doing to prioritize and advocate for your own physical health, emotional health, or your spiritual health?
All right, can I start first?
Yes, please.
So, when your money start coming in and you just keep trying to make more, you do forget sometimes that your mental health and your actual health, you forget you need to do that because you're pushing yourself to the limit to trying to be successful and get to the next level. So what I've been doing in the past couple of years, and I think I've shared with a lot of the ladies here, is that I decided to convert my husband into the real estate business. So when he's working, I can go to the gym. So I told my husband, what do you think if we work less and make more together? That's how I converted him to switch into real estate. And my husband previously is in the finance industry, and so was I, and before I got into real estate. So I think, for me, like, because, as you get older, you're kind of starting to realize that, it's not sustainable if you just keep go every day. Stress level for most of our work is, can be quite high, even though, I think I'm a very positive mindset person, but the stress can get to you because, when you care about what you do, you always want to perform at the highest performance level as possible. If you are not healthy, if you're not taking care of yourself, right? If you're not making time blocking to do things that actually refresh you, it is going to catch up to you. Because I actually totaled a car a few years ago when I was rushing from one showing to another because it was falling behind. I was in such a rush. I literally got into an accident on a highway. And I'm lucky that was a wake-up call for me, understanding that, this needs to change. Even though I was doing really well at my job, but at the cost of what, right? Eventually you have to understand that the reason why you make money is so that you can enjoy it and spend it. And with the health to kind of, if you're not healthy enough, you can't go travel. If you don't have your health, it doesn't matter how much money you make. So I think everyone is going to need to find out, where that line has to be drawn and live a more balanced life, especially if, people who have families, who have a bunch of little kiddos, it's very hard for you to sometimes decide where is that best balance is. And I've talked to a lot of mothers, who are very good at the job. I personally don't have kids because I was a middle school teacher, so I'm good. I'm all set. But I really admire, all these mothers, who have 2, 3 kids at home and still trying to always perform at the highest level. I always ask them, how do you have work-life balance? And a lot of them actually, the really honest one will tell you that there's no work-life balance. You just have to prioritize at the best way you can as, stuff hit the fan. You just have to prioritize, get really, really good at asking for help when you need help. Don't feel like you have to do all of it yourself, because no one should be doing it yourself. That's why you marry a good person, so you don't have to do alone. In my case, when I told my husband that, you know what, let's make a change, we're in our 40s. I'm in my 40s. He's almost 40. I told him the next 20 years is going to be a very good time of our life, because we make money, we still have the health to do what we want to do, right? So just don't let that, health is very important. Mindset, again, just remember, if you don't have health, you have nothing.
And I'll just
Absolutely.
add on to that too. I'm a big believer that all it takes is just 5 minutes for you to do whatever it is that you need to do that you desire. So if you want to be fitter, you just spend 5 minutes doing that. If you want to make more money, you spend 5 minutes just doing that. Because the mindset is a really beautiful thing. The more that you just spend 5 minutes to do and work towards the goal that you want, what you're really saying to yourself is, that's really important to me. And I really want that. And your mind, like working out, is going to get addicted. And all of a sudden, 5 minutes becomes 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, all the stuff that you had going on that day, it works itself out. I will tell you that the biggest shift when it comes to mental health and physical was really shifting from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. And I'll just share my routine, because I think that a lot of women, moms, women in general, and just the way people, I think, operate in the world today, is we're so used to multitasking. And, the most powerful things now that I can do for myself is I spend 2 hours in the morning just getting ready before I go to work. And what I mean by that is, my kids, they're 15 and 13 now, so I now can have 2 hours, but I'm meditating. I'm doing my morning mindset journal. I am working out. I am really just taking quiet time to calm my mind. And I just feel that if I just do that an hour and a half to 2 hours every morning, everything else, it just works itself out. Like my to-do list, it doesn't get done, I don't freak out. And so what I'm trying to say is that it's mental health, it's physical health, it's all of those things. But really, at the end of the day, what it's really about, ladies, it's not time management, it's energy management. If you can manage your energy where you are in a high vibe and you channel it 5 minutes towards the goal that you want, I guarantee you will start moving closer to it. 5 minutes becomes 15 minutes, 15 minutes becomes 30 an hour, right? So for me, especially now as an entrepreneur, people are like, Elizabeth, how do you have so much energy? And it's because working out now isn't just about having healthier. It's literally because I needed to really, really maintain my stamina, because the reality is we're in our head a lot, and movement really allows us to be outside of our head. And I would also just add that for me, mental health is that a lot of us has been raised to have masculine leadership, meaning we're in our head a lot. We're analyzing, we're thinking, the kids are juggling, blah, 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 right? Like, I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe that I prioritize best in the moment. And for me, what it's really about is when we lean into our feminine energy, which is really intuitive, we just figure shit out when it hits the fan. It's like, all right, remain calm. What is it? Okay, that just, you know what? I got this. Calm down. Mom's here, or boss woman's here. And you just figure it out. And when you release that, when you release all of that, because you know that you're aligned to who you are, that's feminine leadership. You're doing what you do naturally best, which is you're leading to who you are, and you're making decisions when it comes to health through your body. Your body will tell you the right direction, the right answer, even before your brain kicks in. And we women, just whatever you believe in, nature, God, spirit, I'm a God believer. I believe that we already know. We already know before our logic kicks in. It's just that we're so used to masculine leadership really being the right way of doing things. And when you lean into your health, what you're really leaning into is learning how to listen to your body, listen to your intuition. Your body tells you first before your mind does. And to me, that's why mindset is so important, because when you're in that desire zone of your mindset, you really start to manifest, attract, put out the energy that you want, and it'll come. that's where our faith also has to come into spiritually as well.
I love all of that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Elizabeth. And, even going back to what Dee shared, Coach Dee, just everyone has dropped just incredible nuggets. So the thing that I'd like to share, because I think I'm one of the oldest members of the panel today, or at least, I'm close in age, right? Give yourself permission. Take it from me. If you don't prioritize yourself, no one else does. Your health and well-being matter. When you make it a priority, others will respect that space because you've set your intention for those 2 hours that Elizabeth talked about. Your children, I'm grandparenting now. My grandchildren understand that if this is my private time, this is my private time. And there's still plenty of time for them. But pre-pandemic, let me just say, crazy busy was a virtue. I modeled that as a virtue, crazy busy. One of the blessings of the pandemic was this reset, this opportunity to determine, to figure out for yourself what's truly important. And I think for all of us, our wellness was prioritized. That became something that suddenly was paramount. We lived in fear. We lived in isolation. We lived in loneliness. And yet, for many of us, that became a time of great awakening to who we are, our potential to serve ourselves, to love ourselves, to care for ourselves like never before. And so, like Elizabeth, I prioritized meditation, quiet, creativity, making space for creativity, having fun. Pre-pandemic, I could not recall the last time I had jumped, skipped, or hopped. But if you've got grandchildren, they will remind you to do those things. And when I did, the energy was surprising. There was a feeling, an emotion that I couldn't even remember having felt before. And then a part of my brain said, oh, yes, you did that when you were a child. Now, I didn't have time for it when I was parenting my own kids because, again, I was in that crazy, busy cycle of performance. But I've prioritized my own health and well-being. And life is richer, fuller in every possible way. But it starts with giving yourself permission. And if you don't, then you will have no one to point the finger at when the body doesn't cooperate in the ways that you want it to. Let me just tell you, aging is its own specific, I won't call it a monster, but I'll just say there's some realities that we don't necessarily anticipate or plan for when we're younger. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's going to be this way forever, and it's not. But it doesn't mean this can't be your championship season, no matter what your age, but you've got to prioritize yourself. And so this becomes another literacy, the literacy of your physique. I'm a believer in God, and the Bible tells us that we're wonderfully and fearfully made. Now, nothing to fear, just awesome. We are awesome. Our bodies are extraordinary. Our brain has neuroplasticity that means we can learn. And yes, money does grow on trees because we just grow branches here in our brain. So give yourself permission and have fun. Your health and well-being are worth everything. Actually, they're priceless. And if you neglect yourself in this season, it will catch up to you. And it will be that much more challenging to begin the work then. You can still do it. There are lots of, you can do sit and exercise, but why not get outside and appreciate the marvelous beauty of creation all around us every day, a new tapestry, a new painting. Just enjoy it. I used to miss it because I was racing to work. Now I start my day by going outside. Now I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, so some days it's already close to 100 when you start your day. But even with that, I can peak. So I'm going to just encourage all of you, give yourself permission. You are worth it. You matter, and you've got to put yourself first. Everyone will have a different routine and what that looks like. Some will start the day this way, others will end the day that way, others will try to find time, snatches during the day, whatever it takes. And listen, reach out, ask your sisters. They will give you tips that might work for you. Why not try it? Let's build community in this space and let's care about each other, but let's start by caring about ourselves. And I don't have the capacity to care for any of you if I'm not taking care of this temple. So give yourself permission. You are worth it.
Woo!
Yeah.
I love this. That was fantastic.
I'd like to share. So my story is a little different. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune issues from I think maybe like 12, 13 years ago. So it's different when your body does have some kind of ailment, and I've tried to adjust with the food and all that. But the thing is, as we evolve, the same way, mindset, right? You learn different things. You learn to eat different foods. When I was first diagnosed, there was no gluten-free bread that was good. And I cried because I was such a bread eater. But I learned to adjust. And this is now where, like Elizabeth said, the mindset is important, because I did everything else, like working out, eliminating a lot of food that I knew were not good for my body. And then you adjust your body, like Connie said, listen, to your body. Your body knows. It does know. And now I'm at the point where if I do eat certain things, I'll know right away just from when I put it in my mouth. But the nice thing with our bodies is that we adjust, right? And then you learn to, with your current situation, whatever that may be, you go with the flow, and it's okay. Do I miss certain things? I did. I mean, it was to the point where, my family would buy the Hawaiian bread, and I'm like, can I just take a whiff of that? But now it's like, I don't really miss things anymore. And this is where I think as women, we're very resilient, and we're so flexible in so many things, and that's how we're able to multitask, that even when our health is in question, like we're able to adjust to our situation. And I think the most important thing is this, and same thing, my spiritual life, because without a body, without our minds, our body can't function properly. Without our bodies, we can't do our work. We can't take care of our families, right? And I've experienced that, to where your body just cannot move sometimes. And it's okay. You just have to give yourself, like Con said, permission to be that way. And it's temporary, it's not permanent, but we adjust. And I think that's the gift that we do have to embrace, is that we're very flexible when it comes to a lot of things. Like I know more than men, like we can accept things easier. And I think that's the power that we have within us.
That's awesome, Joyce. Fantastic. Would it be okay to go through a little exercise? Is anyone down for that? Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Okay. Go ahead and grab a notebook or your phone, anything. Just need to jot down some thoughts here. So this is probably my number one favorite exercise when it comes to cultivating a wealth mindset, when it comes to cultivating more abundance. And I'm a Virgo, so I'm extremely logical, analytical. Like, I need practicality. I need to know, like, okay, this is like steps and processes and everything. So we're going to take you through a process, and it's called the micro upgrades exercise. So what this is making subtle micro upgrades in your life, like within your environment, to better align yourself with wealth. So an example is, look around you and just ask yourself, does this make me feel good? Or am I kind of tolerating this? Like, when was the last time you got a new bra, ladies? I'm looking at all of you. I see some laughter. Yeah. Okay. When was the last time you got a new bra? When was the last time you upgraded whatever it is, your makeup, shampoo, like all of these little things? Because the reason why I want to talk about micro upgrades is because if you try to do big upgrades all at once, like you try to do like bam, new car, bam, new boyfriend, spouse, whatever, bam, new house, like all of these things, your mind is going to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And you're going to have a little bit of an identity crisis. You're going to be like, whoa, wait a second. You just moved countries. You got a new house. You got a new car. You got a new husband. Like, this isn't you. And that's when self-sabotage happens, because your brain is meant to protect you. So our brains are absolutely fantastic. Our brains are meant to keep us in our little comfy comfort zone, like not do anything scary, because it's always scanning your environment for threats. It is here to make sure that you're okay. So when you go ahead and I mean, speaking from personal experience, and especially when it comes to fitness, I'm going to be super transparent. I don't like working out. I have tried, ladies, for years and years and years. I have gone to multiple gyms. I have, done all of this. And every time I work out, I'm like, it doesn't make me feel good. I'm like, I'm trying to understand, Elizabeth, I know you're talking about like working out and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think I've once felt good after working out. I don't know what it is, guys. But so then afterwards, I made an upgrade in my life to finally get a personal trainer. And it was actually a lot more affordable than I thought. But with this micro upgrades exercise, is the first step is to declutter. So the first step is to look through all of the things you own and everything you interact with as soon as you wake up until the time you go to bed. So we're talking about, even looking at your closet. Look at like the different shirts or sweaters and ask yourself, I love Marie Kondo, and ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Or are you looking at a shirt that you wore on a bad date 2 years ago? And every time you see that shirt, you're like, oh my gosh, I remember, like, it was horrible. It was, the worst day ever. But you're still holding on to these items. And whether you're aware of it or not, these things are really, really impacting your subconscious mind. And it's telling you different things that, oh my God, this was a bad date. This was horrible. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. So go ahead and start decluttering and look like at your undergarments. Like, are they falling apart? Are they like, can you go ahead and upgrade them? A personal example is I would always cheap out. I would always buy the cheapest shampoo on the shelf. It was like, didn't care what it was. Want to know what happened? Every time I was, buying the cheapest shampoo, it just made my hair dry, brittle. It never made me feel good. People actually started commenting, being like, your hair's kind of dry, or like, you might need to get a haircut. And I'm like, oh my God. And it just never made me feel good. I remember I had a flat iron that it had like a screen on it to tell me the temperature. It was cracked, and this thing would only stay on for like 20 seconds. It was absolutely unreal. So I would turn this thing, I would do this like song and dance every morning, turn this thing on for 20 seconds, time it, straighten my hair quickly, it would shut off. All right, press the power button again, 20 seconds, you know? And until I decided to ask myself, would my highest self operate like this? Would a wealthy woman, operate like this? Would a woman making $100,000 a month, $100,000 a month be operating like this? Or what would she do? So then when I asked myself this, I went to the store and I just sat there and I was like, what like shampoo and conditioner would a wealthy woman buy? And I got one, it was like beautiful. It had like gold on it and it just looked really nice. And the ingredients were, somewhat cool too. So then I bought it. And what it does is every time I woke up and I went in the shower, I just felt so much better. My hair was looking better. It was smoother. It would style better and all of these things. So go ahead and just ask yourself, what am I tolerating in my life? And how can I upgrade it? Another simple upgrade is I had one phone cord, and I would do this, oh, it was in this room next to my bed, and now I have to like put it next to my desk, and I was running all over the house. And I'm like, why don't I just get another phone cord? Micro upgrade. So all of these little things are micro upgrades, and then it sends like nano messages to yourself of being like, this is my wealthy life, because these things start to compound. I am constantly upgrading all the time. And, even what I was talking about, it doesn't necessarily have to be like material items. It can be like with the personal trainer. I was like, I never have the best results going to a gym. I do have anxiety, different things like that. And I also really get consumed by my work. So I don't really step away from my desk too often. But then I asked, like, okay, what can I do to get this result? And then you can just ask for help, just ask for help. So that's like one method you can do, is do like a micro upgrades exercise, because you'll start to notice things. You'll start to be like, holy, this rug has seen better days, or like these shoes are falling apart, or, and then just make like a subtle upgrade here and there, and it'll really help with your environment and stepping into your highest self. So that's a little wealthy exercise I want to take you guys through. And I have a few more things, but let's hear from some other people and then I'll chime back in.
Thank you. Thank you. So actually, let's shift here. We want to be able to give an opportunity for our attendees to ask your questions. So first off, round of applause for our panelists. Thank you so much. Amazing, amazing. Okay. Now, as you guys are thinking about your questions, please go ahead and drop that down in the chat, and we'll go one by one here. Feel free, if there is a specific person that you have a question for, don't be shy, right? Call it out and ask that person. Now, as you guys are doing that, one thing that I want to do is to encourage you all, if you felt so much energy and compassion and motivation and just knowledge and information, right, from these amazing ladies, I would love to invite you all to join our upcoming Red Women Networking events. Now, that, as you guys know, is one of the sponsors for today's event. And naturally, as the chapter president, I am going to invite you all. So I am going to drop a chat in, or a link in the chat for you, and definitely want to personally invite each and every single one of you to join our meetings. Let me tell you, if you guys think that this is all that there is, No, 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 no. We continue the fun. We continue the conversation every single month. So this here is going to take you directly to the Red Women site, which not only has the bios of these wonderful panelists here so that you guys can learn more about them and connect with them, but also for you to register for our upcoming events. Okay? Any questions? I don't know if I see any here. By all means, Sharon, do you see any questions? I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything as my better half today. Oh, I think you're on mute, Sharon. If you're talking.
No, I do not see any other further questions. But in any event, I do want to thank all of you lovely ladies for attending and for our
I think
panelists.
Brazil has a question.
Brazil has
Sorry.
her hand up.
Yeah, she has her hand virtually, not virtually,
Okay.
but physically raised. So
All right. So,
Hello.
okay.
Hello, you guys. My name is Brazil. I am the one just dropping down knowledge like atom bombs in the chat right now. I am a wonderful friend of Sharon and so many people that are here on this beautiful panel with you guys. And I am in a process of learning how to build my brand, which is to essentially reach out to people and help them grow their business, but also work on a global scale and do networking at the click of a button. Because I don't know about y'all, but I get exhausted with all the networking opportunities, and everyone's like, come over here to Florida, to South Africa, to China. And I'm like, can I just click a button, please? So I can just say hello, meet you, and we arrange if we like each other before moving forward, something more practical. So my question with that is, I know the systems that I want to implement for my brand and my network. How can I choose the right residual income processes to increase revenue as I'm doing GoFundMe's, I'm raising capital, I'm going to college, so I'm trying to get scholarships, really do my pitch just by existing in my classes. Just trying to go the extra 9 miles and just let people know what I'm doing. What else can I do? And that's for anybody. It would be cool if all of y'all answered. I would love that.
Actually, Brazil.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dee.
Oh, okay. I'm curious. So you're really talking about visibility, right?
Yes, yes. I am working on letting people know what I'm about, but also protecting my business so people don't steal my ideas. So I'm keeping it kind of vague for people I don't really trust, because I know that people will try and take my brilliant ideas. I know that. So I'm trying to be mindful and only talk to people that have the ability to fund my cause. So yes, visibility.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm going to dive into it. I would love to know if you can just type in the chat your I help statement, just so I can get some more clarity on your business. So the framework for the I help statement, if you want to write it down, is I help blank. So this is your audience. This is your client avatar. So I help busy moms. I help entrepreneurs, whoever it is you help. So go ahead and write that. I help blank achieve. What is the dream result they want? What is the transformation that they're seeking? So I help busy moms achieve more time freedom. It's just an example. Without, and this is your unique selling point. So your unique selling point is what you don't do. So you help busy moms achieve time freedom without having a digital calendar. Or, there's something along the lines there. And I'd be so curious of understanding your unique selling point so then I can better cater the communication towards you. So let me know when you have that.
I'm almost there, I promise.
Yeah.
Extend to.
Chunk down a little bit here.
Okay. So I'm gonna say it out loud as I type it. So I help business owners achieve the fundamental systems to be efficient without having to extend to the wrong audience.
Interesting. So I help business owners. Let's get a little bit more tangible here. So I help business owners, excuse me. What type of business owners do you help?
Entrepreneurs.
What type of entrepreneurs? Female
Entrepreneurs that work in finance and work a lot with logistics and need help with being personable.
Interesting. So you help them with their brand, right?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned fundamental systems. What do you mean by that?
So the way I would be helping with their brand would be in a somewhat unconventional way. It would be helping them to see where they can build better connections.
Go finish listening to this at home.
Oh, sorry, do you mind just saying that again?
I help them build better connections with themselves so they know how to connect with their clients and they have better perception of how to achieve the goals that they need and how to better serve their clients.
Okay. So I know you're mentioning branding. I have a few things here. So branding, would you say you talk a lot about mindset?
So I'll be honest with you, I am starting off my company. So I'm literally building it with you like right now. So with that, yeah, it's mostly about mindset. I will say it is the systematic way of looking at mindset. It's not looking at mindset of like what makes you feel good, what like the surface level. It's looking at the root of your mindset and why you have those limited beliefs. I thrive off of challenging people in my soft skills. So people don't see it coming that I'm challenging them. That's why I use a lot of extensive words. So people have to either look up what I'm saying or they have to really ponder what I'm saying to them.
Okay, so with that comment that you just said, use extensive words. Do you use extensive words with your clients or leads?
I do know that I try and gauge it for who I'm talking to. Mostly when I'm talking to college students, if I know what level of education they're at and their vocabulary, I mimic their vocabulary. I don't just use my terms because that would be selfish. That would be like saying, I'm smarter than you, give me your money. And that's wrong. So I more so try and be open.
Yeah. So the main thing that I would mention here, and this could apply to a lot of other people on the call, if you have any type of business or you're promoting anything, is you got to get tangible. Got to get tangible on what people actually want. So instead of saying, I'm going to help you with financial freedom, what is financial freedom? Like, what does that actually look like in their life? What are the results of financial freedom? I'm going to help you create more. I'm going to help you add $10,000 a month to your business so you can pay off your student loans, get out of debt, whatever it is, put a down payment on a house. Tangible. Think very, very tangible, because this is what people are going to relate to. And especially like anyone in the mindset space too, Elizabeth, I'm sure you know this as well, is to really get tangible, because a lot of the times, and I love people in the mindset space and spirituality space and everything, but I often find that it's, they say like abundance, and I'm going to help you evolve. I'm going to, make you be happy. And it's like, what is that? Like, what does happiness actually look like in your life? What does evolving mean? Like, am I a Pokemon? Like, what is this? So
I'm a Charizard.
I love that. So it's really about getting tangible, because as soon as you're crystal clear on your messaging, then whatever you do, if you put paid ads behind it, if you do organic marketing like Elizabeth, if you do anything, it's going to work. But the main thing that you need to really conceptualize is the messaging and who exactly you're going for, like, promoting to, and what do they really want. So really doing that market research. So let's run through this one more time, and then we'll be in a better space. So let's do an I help statement. And again, anyone else with the business, you can do this along with us and stuff, but your I help statement or your tagline is super, super important, because it gives, like, it's your elevator pitch. It gives like super clear clarity to exactly what you do. Okay. So I help, I know you said business owners, and you said finance and logistics. Are you just going after those niches, finance and logistics?
That's what I'm starting off with. I do better with talking about finances instead of other fields because I can leverage it more.
Okay. So we can just say, financial entrepreneurs, or just something along the lines of that. Achieve. What are you helping them achieve? So I know you were saying like branding. What else were you mentioning here? Mindset to become better with themselves or something like that?
Fundamental systems. So creating discipline or creating a foundation. Creating foundational systems is essentially what I'm doing. Yeah.
Is that what they want? What's the transformation? What
That's
do
a
they
good
want
question.
in their life? Yeah. When you said fundamental systems, my background is in tech and automation. So I'm thinking of like tech systems right now.
Got you.
This, know what?
Okay.
I want you to just actually think about this on your own time. So
Okay.
say like I help my audience or avatar achieve tangible. And you have to ask yourself, okay, would my client say, I want fundamental systems in my life?
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
on this panel or anyone ever in this world or like galaxy is going to say that. They're going to say, I want more money. I want a soulmate. I want to get out of debt. I want, whatever it is. Tangible. So think about
Gotcha.
that. And then without something they hate to do. So sit with that for a little bit.
I will.
So I know your main question was you don't particularly love the networking calls, right? Right. So have you explored any other options for brand visibility?
I do know that at the moment I've been doing more of networking because that's like I guess the more efficient way for what I can do for getting my name out there. But I've been joining stuff like Facebook networking and being a part of groups and just reading about opportunities and talking to people that I know are business owners and having enjoyable conversations and like reaching that depth, but also touching bases on business. So I'm also looking into other networks that feel more professional and have a purpose to it. For myself, it's hard for me to do something if it doesn't feel like it has a purpose. So that's the reason why I have like the annoyance with the like, oh, nice to meet you. Oh, you think my pitch is ridiculous? That's nice. So
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, two things I would recommend here, and then I'll wrap it up so other people can talk here. But two things are, one is, of course, getting crystal clear on your messaging. But two, let me think here. I did not just lose it. The first one is to you got to do market research before you continue doing your networking calls and all of this stuff. You got to take a step back, and you have to, I would recommend posting in like a relevant Facebook group and asking to interview people. Ask them some questions of what are their hopes, dreams, desires, pain points, what keeps them up at night, what do they think about, like how do they go throughout their day, all of this stuff. And then you can better cater, you know, your messaging and all of that to everyone else. So even before you do, networking events, organic marketing, posting on social media, Facebook ads, anything related around marketing, you got to do some interviews and understand your avatar. So just have the self-control to not keep going into the networking events right now, and to really do some research on how to do proper market research.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I know we've got another really awesome question here from Ronnie, but I know that we may have some panelists. Anybody else want to add in to Brazil's question? I'd like to keep it under 2 minutes here so that we can give plenty of time for Ronnie's question as well.
I just had some thoughts there, and I'm gonna bring this back to all the other guests that are also on here too. So you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned about like not wanting to share this idea. You mentioned in your question about like just different ideas for how do you monetize basically, and you have a lot of different resources that you brought up. So I'm gonna bring it back to the group. I think that it's great for us to put money at the forefront, but when it comes to monetization, we have to remember that money is really about what people value and how you solve a problem. So fall in love with the problem that you want to solve, not falling in love with your product or idea or service or your program or all the features and bells and whistles. Fall in love with the problem that you solve. Because when you fall in love with the problem that you want to solve, one, you're committed, you're passionate. Two, you're serving. And anytime that you're serving and you're actually solving a problem and then you ask for money, people are much more willing to pay for. So, I think if you just remember that, it's going to help you just really stay super aligned about a problem that you can fall in love with. But the worst mistake I think that a lot of entrepreneurs can make is falling in love with your solution, your idea, what you think is really what everyone else needs. Because when we fall in love with our own solution, regardless if we have our niche or title or all the fancy branding, how we come across is that we think we know everything and nobody wants to buy anything from a know-it-all, period.
Sorry, Elizabeth, or when you think like your product is amazing or whatever, and you're so consumed by passion, you got to check the market. Do people actually want what you're going to sell? Because I've fallen into that trap before in one of my previous businesses and didn't go over that well. So really like finding that passion.
With your problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say too, because I think this is really important for everyone else to share, was you had some reservations around someone else stealing your idea. Look, there is no original ideas. There isn't no original idea. And you should not fear anyone stealing your idea, because here's the thing. Everyone struggles in execution. There's a lot of people who talk a lot of big game, but very few people that can actually take an idea and launch it to market and get it done and execute. So you don't ever have to worry about that, because one, there's a few people that can actually execute. Two, you actually want a product that there's a lot of competition in. You know why? Because when there's a lot of competition, that means that's where the money is at. That's where the demand is. If you have a product or a solution that you think is so unique and there's nothing in the market like it, that's because no one's willing to pay for it. So I think if you just keep those guiding principles in mind, you're going to do just fine. Just fine.
Thank you. Your Charizard is happy. Thank you.
Fabulous. All right. Now, thank you for all of the awesome golden nuggets. To Ronnie's question, she put in the chat here, which is awesome. It's a 2-part question. All right. So, when you first started out, what were you so flexible in doing before your service that looking back was a setback to your personal and business growth? And if you went back in time, what would you do differently and tell yourself not to do? This is a solid question.
I'll share. I'll answer that one. So for me, going back to networking, I spent a lot on networking. Sometimes I'm like going from the north down south and then I found that, especially here in Austin, Texas, it's not a big city. It's like the same people. I'm networking with like the same people, and I did get good friendships out of those, and out of some of those connections, I got good projects or contracts from as well. You know, the whole collaboration, there's no competition, true, because the person who actually gave me a really good contract was another insurance agent. She wanted to focus on health. She gave me all her life. Great. But knowing what I know now, I probably would not have spent so much money and time driving back and forth. You know, you have to be very strategic with how you're going to do this. Again, I'm all about strategy now. And, but back then, I think it was more from a lack mentality of, oh, I don't want to miss out. Oh, there's another event here. Oh, let me go there. Oh, wait, there's another event here, which took time from my family, you know. And now my time with my family is more important than networking, you know, meeting different people. Do I still network? I do, but I chose the ones that I would truly get more value from and are in alignment with my own personal values as well.
I love that, Joyce, and I would echo so much of what you said. I think one of the things I did early on was I helped other people chase their dreams. And sometimes I tried to convince myself that, you know, I shared the dream. I was having the same dream, but if I'm honest, their dream was not my dream. And I had to learn that, and I had to give myself permission to dream for myself and believe that my dream had value and to pursue my own dream. Now, would I say something, you know, different to my younger self, or, you know, what would I do about that? Would I do the same thing again? I wouldn't do the same thing again, but I wouldn't reproach my younger self, because it's a process of growth and discovery and learning. And there's no power in the past. My power is in the now. And so I see that I can tap into this beautiful communal space where I can encourage the dreams of others. I just don't have to join them in that space. I certainly found myself not providing the kind of time and attention to not only my family, but my own personal well-being by helping them chase their dream. And so while their dream had value, so too does mine. And I would just be kind to my younger self and say, lessons learned, note to self, and my power's in the now. And let's go get Connie's dream. And let's dream new dreams. This season affords lots of opportunity. So again, looking back, lessons learned, of course, and I know we've all got those. And things we did, if we reproach ourselves for those things, I don't find any value in that. So I'm going to be kind to myself, and I'm going to continue to dream new dreams. As a matter of fact, one of my grandchildren, a 7-year-old, said to me one time, he said, how would this story be different if someone else was telling it? And I thought that's a really interesting perspective. So I can even look back on my past actions and say, how would this look different if someone else was telling it? And within that space, I could say, I can understand why that person did that. So I don't have to have any sense of fear, shame, discouragement, or anything. And maybe there's one or two things that I learned that are really helpful in my now. So I appreciate the question. Thank you for asking it. And our power's in the now. Let's all dream. Let's be the biggest dreamers in our generations. And let's see those things come to fruition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now I'm going to chime in a little bit here as well for you, Ronnie. In my journey, I'm going to short and sweet. Number one thing that I would, if I could go back in time, if I could find the DeLorean like a Back to the Future and go back in time and do this, I would have let go of my pride and my ego. I was a woman of high excellence. I can figure this out by myself. I can do this by myself. I don't need help. I don't need a coach. Even though I'm a coach, I don't need another coach. I can coach myself. That was me when I first started my business 6 years ago. And I needed to check myself. So if any of you that are here, like some tough love, it's okay to ask for help. I'm a coach that has coaches. A lot of us coaches have coaches because we back it up. We know the transformation of just having someone guide and help us break through those barriers. So the first thing for me is I would have really been self-aware of my ego and my pride of trying to do it by myself. And then second thing is community. Now I'm super type A extrovert, y'all. Like I thrive in socializations like this. And when you are especially if you are an online based business or entrepreneur, or you're doing things remotely, it can get very lonely very quickly. And so again, if I could do this over again, I would find a tight knit community of, I don't like using the term like minded because I want thought provoking individuals to be a part of a community with me. I want like character individuals. Right. And so like finding a community of like character individuals that can help to provoke my thoughts and my growth is what I would do again. Well, redo. So anybody else?
That was fantastic. Exactly, me too. I was like just doing everything by myself, watching YouTube University, struggling, like wondering why nothing was working. Yeah, it was until I hired someone when I was like, oh, this is how you do things. Because you basically use leverage, right? And you leverage all their past experiences and mistakes, and they hand it to you on a silver platter, be like, do this. This is the roadmap. And then you'll see results in, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. Yeah, I definitely relate with that. Another one for me was shiny object syndrome. I lack commitment. So I would start this business and then I would see this person's making this amount of money doing this business. So I would go and do that and learn that. And I'd go and do, it was like constantly jumping all over the place, but really just finding one thing and going all in until you start signing clients, you're getting results, and you're actually seeing it through. So shiny object syndrome, and definitely the community. I surrounded myself with the wrong people when I first started out. And I thought my pride was like, they're not going to get to me. I can overcome this. I was living in not the best environment. I was hanging out with not the best people. They were drinking all the time and all of this stuff. And my pride was like, oh, it's okay that they're doing this, but I'm not going to do this. Well, there's your subconscious mind. And it caught up to me, bit me in the ass, had to do a crap ton of mindset work to get out of it. Yes, surround yourself with the right people. That's really important.
And I'll just add to that too with, because we, some of us talked about networking and some of us talked about community. I think for you, the biggest thing that you can do is just go be clear on your intention for the different types of relationships. Like for me, I would go networking and say, oh, I'm going to go and meet people and generate leads and it's going to do sales. But really, I found myself just hanging out with people like we were friends. And then I would join a community and I thought we could really be like a supportive community of women cheering each other on. And then half the people were there just to generate leads. And so it was like dating the wrong, like we just could never get to the right page. So I think with that being said, it's great to have a community. I've just personally found that, when I first started, I just really believe that a free community, like I always say, there's always a customer for free. But if you can invest in, a community where there's like a monthly membership that's like, just that's comparable, affordable, like just kind of that one layer to kind of qualify people and screen people out who are just there for a happy hour, like what Dee was saying. I think it just kind of helps you kind of up level the quality of people that you surround yourself, and then just be clear on the type of relationships that you should have and why you're going out there to meet a group of people. I think that's really important. There's a place and time for a community to support you. There's a place and time to go and network and really generate leads. The second thing, it's a no-brainer, but if you resist sales, invest and learn how to close, because I can tell you, I had all of these limiting beliefs until my first sales coach was a Brazilian woman with this amazing accent. And she is really the one that changed my whole entire life about sales. And the way that she sold, I was like, damn, it felt so good. I'm like, I want to be sold to like that. Not the marketing bros that are selling that way, sleazy. I want to be sold to like that. And that's really what inspired me to be like, man, she just sold me and got my check. And I feel so happy. I want to sell like that. And truly, that has been the biggest game changer, is that if sales is not your strength, find a mentor that resonates with the way that he or she, their values, the way they sell, the way they close. I mean, people are so afraid to jump on a sales call with me sometimes because they think I'm going to sell to them. But I'm like, if you want to improve sales, jump on as many sales calls as you can, because then you're going to be like, ooh, that felt icky. Ooh, that felt good. And that's the only way you're going to know what your selling style is. So jump on as many sales calls as you can. Don't be intimidated by it. Find someone that sells in a way that makes you go, ooh, that feels so good. Because it was that Brazilian mentor that made me go, man, she was so good. She took my money, I gave it to her, and I felt great. I want to sell like that. And that truly was a game changer for me.
Fabulous. With that being said, oh my gosh, thank you all very much. Sharon, I have been stealing the show. I want to hand the mic back over to you as we end the night tonight.
Yes, I think we all, gained a lot of golden nuggets in our bucket tonight that we can use moving forward to inspire ourselves and build a community here. So, I want to thank everybody for participating, the panelists and the audience. And we can look forward to future panel discussions and, center on different topics. But then finally, I want to extend, my utmost gratitude towards my dear sunshine, Sun Chu, for organizing this whole event and bringing us all together so that we can collaborate and connect in creating an extraordinary life. So thank you.
Kiana, do you want to close us out?
Why not? Wow, what an insightful and engaging discussion we have tonight. Thank you so much to everyone. Molly, Sharon, and panelists, thank you for making this event unforgettable. All of your energy and charisma kept the event alive and at high energy. We couldn't have done it without the hard work and dedication you contributed. Also, thank you to our incredible audience who have kept the chat room alive and well engaged. And that concludes our panel discussion. Thank you everyone again for coming tonight, and we'll see you at our next event.